Welcome back, Bannock folks. You're watching another episode of Bandecdotes, podcast that holds it down for the underground sound here in Ontario, Canada. If you aren't already, make sure you're subscribing to the YouTube channel. Give this video a like. Leave a comment down below for the algorithm. Tell me if you like it. Tell me if you hate me. Leave it all. I don't care. I'll get back to you. I'll comment. I'll reply. If you want to see new guests, send some suggestions. If you want to hear me ask new questions, leave it all down below. I promise, I'll get to you. And if you aren't already, make sure you're following our Instagram. That's at Bandecdotes, Bandecdotes. That's where we do all our updates, where I post all my clips, where we post the shows that we're promoting. That's where it all lives. And speaking of shows, I just want to give a quick thank you before we get into the shows this week to everybody who came out last Friday to the warehouse for the 𝕾𝖕𝖕𝖈𝖆𝖕 show. Commuted played, Redcoat, Drifter, John 𝕆𝖕. It was a great time. It was my first show of this year, so it was a great time to get things kicked off. And you know what? There was a bunch of new faces that I saw, which tells me that this music scene is growing. So thank you very much for coming out to that show. I really appreciate it. All right, folks, we got shows in Ontario. Shows. No shortage of shows, that's for sure. Cold Shoulder are starting this tour. Tomorrow, they're going to be in London at Rum Runners. And then on Friday, they're going to be in Toronto at the Hard Luck. And then on Saturday, they're going to be in Ottawa at the Dominion Tavern. And then on Sunday, they're ending that tour in Hamilton at the Absinthe. And they're doing that run of shows with Flashback. They're a really cool band from out west. And really excited to be seeing those folks. Trench Lung and Gouge Out have a small run of shows that they're doing this weekend as well. April 1st, that's on Friday. They're going to be in Ajax at Rotishalus. April 2nd, that's Saturday, they're going to be in Guelph at the Jimmy Jazz. And then on Sunday, Trench Lung, they're going to drive all the way back home and they're going to play their show in Windsor, the Backstage. Gouge Out was not joining them for that run of shows. B.A. Johnson's doing a couple shows in the area. So this Thursday, tomorrow, if you're in Barrie, check out B.A. Johnson with Ship of Fools and 𝕾𝖕𝖕 at the Queen's Hotel. And then on Friday, he's going to be in Hamilton at the Casbah with Sons of Butcher and Thundercock. Make sure you get your tickets for that. This Saturday, if you're also in Hamilton at the Absinthe, we got the Penske File, Sweet and Lowdown, and OK Swimmer. If you're in Toronto on Saturday and you're not at that Cold Shoulder show, at the Rock Pile, we got Medallion, Mutank, Black Absinthe, and Nervecast. Teeth are doing a run of shows. April 6th, they're going to be in Hamilton at the Doors. April 7th, they're in Toronto at Sneaky D's. April 8th, they're in Ottawa at the Dominion Tavern. April 9th, Montreal at 𝕾𝖕𝖕𝖈𝖆𝖕𝖈. And then April 11th, they're ending that run in London at Rum Runners. Thursday, April 7th, in Barrie, Road Waves, High Road Pilots, Mickey Moon, and Voila Swamp. And that's at the Queen's Hotel as well. Saturday, April 9th, in Ottawa at Mavericks, we got Scorching Tomb, Cruel Fate, Gland, and Leprosy. Friday, April 15th, in Toronto at Hard Luck, we got Loose Teeth with their Wormwood release with Rust, Still Numb, and Strange Limbs. Saturday, April 16th, if you're in Hamilton at the Doors Pub, we got the Gavel EP release presented by Off Leash and Heaven. Gavel's obviously playing. Mile End, Die Alone, and Still Numb are playing that show. If you're in Toronto that night, however, Beer Bash is happening. That's with Omnivert, Chainfall, Death Perception, Please Stand By, Dawn Valley, Detest, Angry Spells, Effects May Vary, On Deaf Ears, and Dead Roots. And that's presented by Tarantula Tapes and 𝕾𝖕𝖕𝖈𝖆𝖕 Cannabis. Sunday, April 17th, Niagara Metal presents Dayglow Abortions, Random Killing, The Nasties, and The Electric Dead at Taps Brewhouse in Niagara Falls. Saturday, April 23rd, in Toronto, it's a free show at the Bovine. That's with Choices Made, Mall Crimes, The Slime, and The Holdouts. That's going to be a cool show. There's no reason you can't go out to that. It's a free show. Come on, let's see you out there. In Barrie, Sunday, April 24th, we got School Damage, The Readies, and The Holdouts again, and that's at 𝕾𝖆𝖕𝖕𝖈. Also, ask a punk if you don't know where that is, because I don't know where that is, so ask your local punk. Saturday, April 30th, in Hamilton at the Q Room, we got Hostage, Scabs Off, Postpartum, New Anthem, 𝕾𝖆𝖕𝖕𝖈, Nails and Grim, and more. And that's like a hardcore and rap show, and that's at the Kill Room. That's going to be a really cool time. If you're in Guelph that night at Jimmy Jazz, Dominion, Saf, Prior Convictions, and Laid Arrest are going to be playing a show. And I know that this is a little bit of ways from now, but September 9th and 10th, Bandecdotes has helped sponsoring this rad festival that's helping put on by Damage Control and Solace Music Promotions. That's Hold Your Ground Fest 22. That's with Never Ending Game, Mind Force, Pain of Truth, Dare, Momentum, Gridiron, Cohesion, Cold Shoulder, Endgame, and many, 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 many more. Get your tickets at holdyourgroundfest.com. Holy cow, folks. Lots of stuff going on. As the weeks roll out, as these episodes keep rolling out, I feel like this list of shows is getting longer. And the funny part about that is time is passing. The shows that I've been saying last week, are kind of, it's just snowballing. And I'm telling you right now, go out to a local show. Go help that music scene. It needs you right now. I'm telling you. We got this slow opening kind of thing. No, there's no mask mandates and none of that. And I'm not trying to get political, but I'm just saying, go out, see your band. It's been 2 fucking years. It's been a long time since we've played, and they want to play, and we want to see you rock out. And I'm sure you just want to rock out too. So come on, guys. Let's make it happen. All right, let's get into my guests this week. We got Ashlee Standish. She plays in Whatzername, also plays under her own Ashlee Standish, and she does merch for My Son the Hurricane. Jack of all trades, piano teacher. So she knows more music than I do, because I certainly don't know how to do that shit. All right, folks, let's get into the episode. Cool, right on. Thank you, folks, for tuning in to another episode of Bandecdotes. The T-shirt of the week, we got Uncle Ray. They're a band from Windsor. They're great folks all together. I love that band. Some of those band members are in Miners as well. Great band. And then we got my guest this week, Ashlee Standish. Thank you for coming on the show this week.
Thanks for having me, Phil.
Awesome. So yeah, we've never actually met before. This is our first time interacting.
I know, this is awesome and random.
Yeah. So I made a post and I was looking for guests, and you reached out, and thank you for reaching out. So I really appreciate that.
No problem.
So how long have you been playing music for?
My whole life.
Yeah, because you're a music teacher, right? You're a piano teacher. I'm still a music teacher. Yeah.
Yep. So I started when I was 6, and pretty much it just spiraled from there.
Nice.
I started learning guitar when I was 13.
Oh, because, so you're a jack of all trades. Play all sorts of instruments.
Yeah. I think what happened was I was, learning the piano, and then when I was 13, I got into punk rock, and I was like, okay, enough of this. I need to learn electric guitar now.
Yeah. So and you play under your name, and do you play in any other bands?
Yeah, I have a project called Whatzername as well.
That's right.
Yeah.
So and you released a single late last year in October. That's right.
Yes.
How was that keeping that momentum up through the pandemic?
Keeping momentum in the pandemic. I feel like a lot of it shifted to more online stuff at the time.
Yeah.
Because at that time, also Whatzername released their EP this past year as well. But that had been recorded prior. So I think what happened was everything that was kind of pushing along, as soon as stuff happened in 2019, there was a big pause. But I think the thing was, a lot of people didn't know what to anticipate that was coming next. So there was a lot of waiting. When is the optimal time to release stuff? Do we even book shows? Do we even book a tour? Do we rehearse? Or all those sort of things that happened. And then in the end, for like Whatzername, we got together, we had a rehearsal, we recorded some stuff, and then what happened was we all kind of once again had to take a break from everything and kind of stay home and isolate. And the girls Jess went on to be a hairdresser, and then Clarissa, they went on to become like doing her cosplay stuff. So it was interesting in that way where we all kind of wound up doing different things. And for myself, I had been working on songs. So I ended up actually contacting my friend Russ at Stonehouse Recording.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, I would love to come and still record. Like, I want to still do stuff musically because I don't know what's happening right now with everyone, right?
Yeah.
And then and that was rad. And so I went there and did that, and then I released it in October and played a show at the warehouse.
Oh, you gigged there. You get the...
Yeah, so I did that at least, and then I think things once again kind of they put the kibosh on shows again and stuff. So,
That's right. Well,
so
now things are slowly opening up. Do you have any plans for the new year now that things are kind of doing what they're doing?
Yeah, it's what's wonderful is that I feel like there's a type of camaraderie through this where a lot of musician friends and people who maybe just love going to live shows, they're all checking in with each other.
Yeah.
People I don't even know that have been like, hey, I saw you play this, or I saw you here, there, whatever, or even just social media, and they're like, what are you doing right now, or what's coming up? Do you have new music out? And I'm just grateful that people are having this dialogue.
Yeah.
Because I'm very curious also of others and what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And for myself, like, I'm working on another single, and so that's like in the process right now.
Awesome.
But at the same time too, it's musically wise, I've been doing a lot with Vegas Funeral Records.
Right on.
And so
I see that you're wearing the Vegas. Yeah. Shout outs to Dano.
Yep. But anyway, so with that's really grown as well. So a few years ago, prior to COVID, I started just helping out, selling merch at shows.
Nice.
And it kind of evolved. And of course, being a musician already, I was asked to play keys on their Ride the Bullet album. So So I went up to Jukasa and recorded, and that was an amazing experience. It's an amazing studio, and then through when the COVID first happened, all the merch was at my house because they'd emptied the trailer for the season.
That's right.
And I said, well, I have space in my basement. I'll take these tubs of merch, whatever, who cares. And then we were all at a standstill and no one knew what was happening. And I said, like, if you want, like, I can start selling this stuff. I can mail it out.
Mm-hmm.
And from there, what went from being zero, we started actually generating some revenue from at least all this, like, tons of merch that we had bought in anticipation of the tour of 2019.
Mm-hmm.
So instead, it was just me selling it, through mail orders and stuff.
That's interesting because so when you're normally like selling merch at a show, you're just like handing it out to people. But now when you're doing the mail, you got to learn all about the mail system. You got to weigh them out. You got to figure out with the packages. You got to figure out what is the cheapest option to still make sure that this person gets it, so it's not just get lost in the mail. It's probably, you probably had to learn that fairly quick, right?
Well, you know what? I'm just gonna say you have to make friends with the people at the post office.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you got to be nice to them.
I am. I'm like, I was in there so much, I became friends with them, and I learned how to mail shirts through a slot that's the size of an envelope, a letter, and of course learning weight and measurement and doing stuff ahead of time. Mm-hmm. And I had to ship stuff to Sweden. Like,
really?
Yeah, because they went and played Sweden. Sorry,
that's right.
My son Hurricane. They played Sweden prior to COVID, so they had these new fans that wanted stuff, and I'm like shipping a box, and I'm learning as I go. But anyways, it was great. So that being said, it pushes on, and now we are where we are current day, and now they have this massive tour planned for 2022, and I'm going to be on most of the dates. and I'm going to be jumping on and playing keys with them as well.
Oh, really? That's exciting.
Here and there for a few shows, yeah.
Yeah.
So I think it's awesome. It makes sense to me because just having friends like I've known Jacob a lot longer than most of those members. Hilariously enough, you wouldn't know this, Phil, but years ago I used to play in like a hip hop funk band called Awesome Sauce.
Awesome Sauce?
And we used to play a lot in St. Catharines. Merch. We played like Strut. We played a lot of festivals. And it was an 8-piece. We had a saxophonist, trumpet, all that jazz. Yeah, it was kind of I always laugh and joke, but it was like tiny bit like Hurricane, tiny bit. But we had 2 MCs. We had Jives Time, and we also had Jamie G, like Goddard, and those 2 were our MCs.
Yeah.
And like they were killer. And anyways, so back in the day, Jacob, if he was at a show, he'd come up and he'd join us.
Nice.
And so that's how I met him. And then just years later, I ended up meeting everyone else.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Jacob is like one of the friendliest people out there. Like if you haven't met him, like he'll make sure he's very open and he's totally into it.
And he's very funny.
Very funny. Yeah, he was a riot on the show. So what are some of your favorite has there been any Ontario bands that have caught your attention within the last year or so?
To be fair, I've been as a woman and performer, I've kind of been taking notice of other female performers. And there's been a few bands in and around the area that I've been fond of. So there's Bad Waitress.
Oh, they're great. I have the record right there.
Right on. I also like the Anti-Queens and also too another genre, but a friend of mine, 𝕭𝖕𝖕𝖈𝖕, like she's awesome. She's from Hamilton. She does more of like folk country stuff.
Nice.
Like, killer performer. And it's been in that way. I think I've just been kind of watching what other women have been doing. But to be honest, Phil, I go to shows all the time, so it's kind of funny to think of Ontario bands because I love going to shows.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's great. Now, being a piano player, I often think of like video game music when it comes to piano music. I don't know about yourself, but is there any video game soundtracks out there that stick out to you that maybe even piano driven?
I like it's so interesting. Like being a piano teacher, I teach a lot of like teenage boys that in particular love video game music.
Yeah.
So just for the last decade, I've been teaching a lot of, for example, like, I don't know if you're familiar, there's a game called Five Nights at Freddy's.
I am, I have a niece who's obsessed with it.
Yeah, my son Roddy's obsessed with it too. But there is some, and this is something that's opened my eyes. So a lot of kids like in that age bracket around 9 to 12, they follow YouTubers. They don't really care so much about like TV per se. No,
it's all about the YouTubers.
And a lot of YouTubers are actually people who are just playing video games that they watch so they learn how to beat levels.
Right.
Or they end up putting out their own music and stuff. So
interesting.
And so there's a video game, like a music. So there's a guy on Spotify. He's got at least 1 million subscribers. It's called DA Games, and he writes music for FNAF, Minecraft, and all this. But it's all songs that are written about the game, but they're not a part of the game. So they're not licensed by the game, but they've made a killing just writing about the games. And I think how brilliant is that? But a lot of it is very keyboard and synth driven songs, but some of them are really catchy. Some of them are metal, straight up. And I'm like, I don't mind this song. Yeah. My son puts on his stupid FNAF songs. At least one sounds like metal or something. You know?
Yeah.
So interesting. But beyond that, old school stuff, I'd say Tetris.
Good call.
Mario, obviously, and and even Zelda. Zelda theme. And
my wife is currently playing Breath of the Wild, and that soundtrack is amazing. I don't know if you've played that, but if there's even just piano, just when you're just out in the wild, just ding. Oh, I love that soundtrack. That's a good one.
Nice.
Let's get into some Bandecdotes with each other. So, what are some of the wildest stories you have from like being around band culture, maybe even being on tour with My Son the Hurricane that you've seen personally?
Yeah. So my close friends would know. Like I've done. Okay. So I thought of a couple things. Um, One. We actually got to go play in Ottawa when I was 8 months pregnant.
Oh wow!
And I'm gonna say going on the road when you're 8 months pregnant is not for the faint of heart.
Probably not. No.
It was hilarious. The best part was we were playing this Canada Day festival.
Yeah.
I used to be in a project called the Peace Project.
Okay.
Perpetual Peace Project. So it was a lot of like more of a collective. There was a few artists from the Niagara region, more folk based. Like so, there's Aaron Berger, 𝕾𝖕𝖕𝖈𝖕𝖈, G from Road Waves was in it.
Oh, cool.
And then my ex-husband Rod, and then me, and a bunch of other artists and friends. We're in this collective where we all kind of pulled together our songs and we would play. And it also had like a an Aboriginal component as well. They had the big drum and things like that, some of the members, and it was a beautiful time. And from that, a lot of opportunities happened where we I say like the band themselves. I had my son, so I couldn't do a full tour, but they went open for 𝕾𝖕𝖓𝖈 and went across Canada as the opening act.
Super cool.
Yeah, so that was rad. But I got to do a couple shows here and there when I could. So we went up to Ottawa. I remember they said, Ashlee, we really want you and Rod to come. And I'm like, guys, I can't sleep in a tent. I'm huge. Like, I'm massive. So I'm like, thank you for considering us, but I'm gonna have to pass. They're like, no, Ashlee, there's a hotel. I'm like, oh, there's a hotel.
Yeah.
I'm like, and how are we getting there? We're gonna all drive in a van? They're like, no, there's the train. I'm like, there's a train? So it just like, I didn't realize that we had actually been, we were called, we were like the culture capital of Canada that year, and they chose someone from Niagara region and I think someone from Winnipeg, and we were chosen to represent our region.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a big endeavor. So that's why we got like a hotel, train ride, and we stayed in the nation's capital. And Canada Day, we played. And we couldn't bring a keyboard because that's what I play. So I was playing a melodica.
What's that? What's a melodica?
A melodica is this like handheld device that like you kind of like dude from what's sorry, what's that thing he plays in Zelda?
The ocarina.
Yeah. Kind of like that.
Yeah.
So
interesting.
It's small. It's like about this big, has keys on it, you blow into it and play. It's called melodica. So anyways, I was playing that. I was the size of a house, and we were playing, and then we went afterwards. It was awesome. There was, I'm not kidding, 1 million people in the streets, and we went and saw Feist play a free show.
Oh, cool.
Right at the Parliament building, and there was like the craziest firework display. And I had the forethought to bring a whole loaf of banana bread because I'm pregnant and all I want to do is eat.
Fair
and
enough.
I ate that whole fucking banana bread while we sat there.
That's great.
And then the funny part is we're like, well, I guess we'll go back to the hotel, except for apparently they don't allow passengers to walk across the bridge until 1 a.m. because the traffic is so intense that they don't want the weight of the bridge.
Really?
It's like, yeah, like the, whatever it is, the bridge that goes across the river there.
Yeah.
So they don't allow cars or people to go over it for X amount of time.
Really?
Yeah, after the event, because they don't want it to get overwhelmed.
Yeah, that makes sense, but that's wild.
So we hung out. There's this massive museum there. We hung out in front of this museum. There was a giant spider statue. This thing was like ginormous. And I remember like sitting there with Rod at the time, and we were waiting for the bridge to clear so we could finally walk across to our hotel. It's like so random.
That's in Ottawa?
Yeah.
And I think I've been to a couple museums in Ottawa. I think I've been there's like the Nature and Art Museum, and there's like a giant I've been to, and I think they have a like a historic one with all sorts of like war tanks and stuff.
Nice.
Yeah, lots of cool stuff happening in Ottawa.
I mean, that makes sense. In the nation's capital, right? Yeah, we actually went to one the next day, and it was all on because it was 2012. Yeah. So it was all on mine culture.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was rad.
I'm pretty sure they have Hitler's car there too.
Whoa.
Yeah. It's got riddled with bullet holes and
wow.
It's intense.
That is intense.
Moving right along.
Moving along. Yeah. So those were my pregnant days. That was a long time ago, but that was like, it sticks out because I just think the idea of touring or doing something while being pregnant is such a strange thing. Yeah. And, I even asked my doctor, like, can I continue playing? Is this safe for the baby? And then he said to me, do you ever swim? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, well, when you swim in a pool and you hear music, do you really hear anything? And I'm like, not really. It's muffled. He goes, well, that's what your baby's hearing. So he's fine. And I was like, all right, good to go. So I played up until almost 9 months.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. That's the whole crazy. Time I'm like playing and eating ice because all you do is eat ice when you're pregnant.
Interesting. Yeah. Wow. That's quite the feat.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. But anyway, so that was one little little fun story.
What other ones do you got?
Well, with the same group, we did a tour out east. We went to New Brunswick. Mm-hmm. And we got kicked out of a mansion.
And where in New Brunswick?
It was in 𝕾𝖕𝖈𝖈𝖕. I think we were
St. John.
It was St. John.
Yeah. I've toured there myself.
Have you?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. I actually really enjoy St. John.
It was amazing. We were staying at this crazy place. It was called the Waterkeepers. I don't know. It's Waterkeeper something. And this mansion was sponsored by RBC Bank. Okay. And I mention it because perhaps others might be interested in checking it out, but the premise of it is artists do residencies there. Okay. So I think art can be anything, like visual, music, whatever. And we were staying there for the purpose of writing a song about water or something to do with water being sacred and that kind of idea. And we just happened to be a big group. There was probably, I think, how many were there? I think there was maybe 15 of us.
Oh, yeah?
So,
wow.
We were a big entourage. And
traveling like in a bus?
No, we had 3 cars.
Oh, okay.
And when we got there, originally we were going to pitch a tent on the property. Wow. And then we were going to stay there. And then when we showed up at midnight in the pissing rain, the other artist in the building's like, this mansion's massive. He's like, I don't need this whole place. He's like, come on in. You can stay in here too. We're like, thanks, guy. Because who the hell wants to pitch a tent in the rain, right? So then we proceeded to go in, get comfortable. Me and another woman that was on the tour, we got our own rooms. That was rad. They had a baby grand piano there, which was amazing for me. So I was whatever, I was in my glory, right? Yeah. And this private beach, 𝕾𝖕𝖈𝖈𝖕, we were only there a couple of days. And the gentleman, or shouldn't call him that, this guy that was, we were sharing this massive place with, someone drank his beer, which sucks, but we were going to replace it. And then he ended up basically calling and ratting us out to the organization that had us staying there. So we in turn got called and got told to get the fuck out. And we were like, well, we're not supposed to go to our next tour stop for another day or two. So the fuck are we going to do? And like, well, we have our tents. I guess we'll go find a fucking park to pitch it in, right? Or something. Yeah. Which we laughed because we had this massive unanticipated mansion we're staying in, and now we're gonna go pitch tents in the rain. And that night, actually, we slept out in our tents.
Wow.
Crazy ass lightning storm, 𝕵𝖈𝖈𝖆𝖕, and I'm in this tent, and G is with me from Road Waves, and we're both laying there. We're looking at each other like, we're gonna die in this lightning storm, like outside. Like, how do we, like, where do we end up here? And then, but the rad part was our one friend knew some people that own this really cool spot in 𝕆𝖕𝖈. You been there?
No.
Okay, so it's called Octopus Garden.
Okay, cool.
And it is a tour spot. It's in 𝕆𝖈𝖈, and 𝕆𝖈𝖈 is has the lowest tide in the world. It's a port town, and they do lobster and stuff there.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, and it's in, actually, you have to drive through a provincial park to get to it, and then all of a sudden it's a little tiny town, and this wicked little like restaurant / venue. They have like a stage and a room and all that jazz. Is there in the middle of it. So we left the mansion and we drove there, and then we played 3 nights in a row.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it was such an incredible, crazy time. And they also owned a campground, so they're like, you can stay there for free, and we were like, this is a blessing. And
there you go.
Went there and had mushroom tea, and it was
nice.
a great night.
Nice mushroom tea. Yeah. I like mushrooms. I don't do them anymore. I had a good time when I did them, and I endorsed them, but I won't touch them anymore nowadays.
Yeah, that's not something I do. Just being a parent.
Yeah,
like I just realized, like honestly, once I was a parent, I was like, yeah, I have other things to worry about.
I'm gonna pack that up. Yeah, fair
right?
enough. Fair enough.
Yeah,
that's wild.
Yeah, I think even wilder was so after that whole thing settles down, me, Aaron, and Steve, two of the guys were with me. We had to go back to Niagara, and the rest of the group was carrying on to go to Nova Scotia and continue the tour.
Yep.
So we had to go back to Niagara. We were already gone 10 days, and I was still, my son was still pretty young. So we decided we were going to head out that night, and we were going to drive the whole night from 𝕆𝖈𝖈 all the way back to Niagara straight. And it was probably like a 20-hour car ride.
Oh my God!
And I've never done that.
Yeah, just rotating drivers.
Pretty much. So we're like, Aaron and I are like, yeah, we'll do this. And I remember it was like 3 a.m. and we're in the middle of Quebec somewhere, and we're driving. It's like a full moon. We're listening to like Red Hot 𝕺𝑗𝕾 Peppers, any CD in the car, because back then you didn't have an MP3 player.
Fair
it was
enough.
just like, whatever.
Just anything.
So we're putting in like Red Hot 𝕺𝑗𝕾 Peppers. I look over, and Aaron's just obviously falling asleep at the wheel.
I mean,
like,
with Red Hot Chili Peppers on.
Right? Well, he's grooving. Well, in fairness, he'd already been driving for hours. But it was one of those crystal clear memories where I'm just like, I'm getting tired. I look over, and I see him like with his eyes closed, and and I was like, Aaron, and I'm like clapping, trying to like wake him up, and he's not up. So I basically reached over and I ripped out his arm hair, and then he went, ah! and then I'm like, that's it. I'm like, pull over. We're having a rest stop. So we pull over and we sit for like maybe 20 minutes, and he goes, where are we? We can't stop. We have to get home to Niagara. And I'm like, dude, we have to stay alive.
Yeah.
Like,
oh my God, that's insane. He actually was asleep at the wheel.
Yeah, which I'm sure many.
I mean,
touring
after
people
driving
do.
for so many long, yeah. Wow, that's intense.
Yeah.
So being on the road, what is your go-to gas station snack?
So I'm a chip person.
Nice. What kind of chips?
Munchies is my favorite.
Oh, I just destroyed a bag of Munchies last night.
Well, the thing is with Munchies, at least it has the Cheetos in it, and I hate when my hands are dirty. So It's one of those things where it's like, I love these, but no, it's gonna go everywhere. So, anyways, I love those. Gas station snacks.
Yeah.
It's hysterical.
Oh yeah.
I also love chocolate, and actually when we're on the road with Hurricane, like we always eat candy, because candy is something that like gives you energy. And and I think the thing is too, if you're not drinking like alcohol,
right,
sometimes you really crave sugar.
Right.
So definitely bought tons of like bags of
Sour Patch and all this stuff. Like I never like I think I hit my 20s and I stopped eating candy.
Yeah.
And then when I stopped drinking, I was like full force candy again. I'm like, I don't know what's worse, my liver or my teeth. Like what? Like one of these has to go.
Now, where's the furthest you've gone with Hurricane or any of the bands?
Oh well, so with Perpetual Peace Project. Going out to Alma was the furthest I went with them.
Mm-hmm.
Hurricane, I've gone to Sarnia, and I've been up to Ottawa Valley with them.
Yeah.
And then this summer we're going to be going all over Canada.
Yeah.
So
You
I'm
never
excited.
went to Sweden with them?
No, I think so for them like going there, that's a very small personnel that they bring.
Oh yeah,
obviously,
fair enough.
you
Fair
know?
enough.
But I'm just grateful to go wherever because to me it's an adventure and I love traveling and it's just I don't know I love it. It's so grateful to do it.
Now, let's say your project is on the level of like Metallica. It's huge. It's massive. You're selling out arenas. What's the Rockstar Dream Rider? What's waiting for you in the green room? What's on the list?
I think I mean, I love snacks, but you know what? Like snacks and all that shit. I'm gonna say like when you go to each show, you're glad when there's drinks and food. I feel like it's the people that you miss. So to me, if I were to walk in and see like my best friends, or my son,
that's a good answer.
That would be more important to me.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Most people say like candy or like a fruit
women.
tray. No one's actually said that. It's mostly like beer, weed, I've had some people say like movies playing on in the background, but it's mostly food. It's mostly food. But yeah, that like nice. No one's ever been like, yeah, I like my family. I want them to be there.
Well, within reason. Mommy likes to party. But no, like I just when I watch these bands and they're touring, and I really love it when I see the ones that bring their kids or whoever with them. It doesn't have to be the full tour,
no.
But I just think that's ultimately that's who you miss. And when you are in a green room, what are you doing? You're texting the people you love.
Yeah.
Or, you know what I mean? FaceTiming them because you miss them. So just having them there.
Yeah, makes sense.
That
Absolutely.
and pizza. As long as there's pizza.
Any particular kind of pizza?
Well, I eat veggie pizza, so.
There you go. Well, you'd have a couple pies of veggie pizza.
Right?
Awesome. So I've only got one more question for you.
Sure.
Unless you got any more Bandecdotes.
No, I don't know. I think we're good.
So what are your top 5 favorite artists of all times? If you can't give me 5, you can give me 3.
Okay. Well, that's a little hard.
Yeah, it is a tough question.
Well, I'm going to say bands that really heavily influenced me when I was younger. Like, so really got me into music. Were like Green Day.
Yeah.
So Green Day was big when I was like 12.
Mm-hmm.
So it's one of those things where I've grown with them, and I've talked to Billy Joe on the phone before.
Oh,
on
really?
A radio station. It was so cool.
Oh, that's cool.
I've gotten guitar picks and all this shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've gotten tons of shows. Green Day, and then I really love Bad Religion.
Yeah.
Like they are amazing.
I love that Christmas record of theirs. It gets played every Christmas.
Right?
It's like, it always comes on.
That's so funny. Yeah, I bought the Christmas album on vinyl, and like.
There you go.
And actually, I'm trying to remember. I went and saw Greg Graffin do his solo tour.
Oh, cool.
He played at the Horseshoe in Toronto.
Nice.
And we got to meet him after because it was an intimate show. And I remember I had the Christmas album, and then he bought it. Or I'm sorry, I bought it and he signed it.
Oh, cool. Awesome.
Yeah, that was neat. Yeah, he's a very hilarious man. He's very tall.
Oh, yeah?
He's probably about 6'2", and he's pure sarcasm. So that was super rad. So Bad Religion, and then I think like Black Sabbath has been a huge thing too.
Yeah, I can't go wrong with Sabbath.
I'm a massive Dio fan, so
Nice.
for me, like having the two together is just incredible. And I'm really bummed I couldn't go to. They had a tribute show recently in town at the Moose and Goose.
Nice.
It was a Dio tribute. I was like, what? Like, who the hell's going this? There's, yeah, I know. I just think it's funny because it's, anyways, it's just didn't know there's still a market,
right,
per se, right?
For Dio
Black
cover
Sabbath,
bands.
I get it, but Dio Black Sabbath, I was like, holy fuck. And I honestly, I couldn't get a sitter. We just got over being sick,
right.
So we couldn't really,
yeah,
go out. But either way, I'm fucking mad I missed that. But anyways, so those are some influences. And then, you know what, like classical music, obviously I love Beethoven.
Nice.
So Beethoven, like being a pianist. I also love 𝕭𝖕𝖈𝖆𝖕𝖈. Like she's an amazing songwriter, a pianist, singer, everything, artist. And so, whenever I think of music, I have to think of the different genres.
Yeah.
that I love,
Yeah, I mean, it is a tough question, right?
Yep.
With all the bands. Awesome. Well, I think we can end it there. Thank you so much for coming by today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
If you want to plug the social medias, or if you have anything else that you want to give a shout outs to, now would be your time.
Sure. I guess if you're interested in finding out more about music I do and write, you can look up my name. It's Ashlee Standish Music on socials. I'm also Whatzername Music is also another one. And then Vegas Funeral Records is I work for them. And then My Son the Hurricane.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Right on. Well,
cool.
We'll end it there.
Okay. Thanks, bud.
Take it easy.
Thanks for having me.